Hello and welcome to English Fast Room. I'm Anna.
And I'm Tom. We're so glad you're here with us today. If you're new, subscribe so you don't miss our daily episodes.
So, Tom, do you have any big plans this weekend?
I have a deadline on Friday, so I have to finish a project first. But after that, I just want to have some fun.
Sounds like a plan.
Wait a second. Did you notice what just happened?
What do you mean?
We just used the same word like 5 times in a row, have. You asked if I have plans. I said I have a deadline. I have to finish something. Then I want to have fun.
Oh, wow. You're absolutely right. I didn't even notice. Have is literally in every sentence we say.
It's everywhere. Like this morning, I had breakfast, then I had coffee, then I had a meeting, then I had a snack, then I had to reply to 10 emails.
And you didn't had, you just said had naturally each time. It's such an automatic word for native speakers.
But that's actually what makes it tricky for learners, right? Like, when does have mean own something versus do an activity versus must do something?
Exactly. One of my students asked me this just last week. She said, "Teacher Anna, I have so much confusion about have." And I realized this is a word that seems simple, but actually has a lot of layers.
So we're breaking it down today?
Yes, we're going to show you all the main ways to use have in real conversation. By the end, you'll feel so much more confident.
And we're using examples from our actual lives, not textbook sentences.
Because textbook sentences are great, but real conversation is where you actually need these words.
So let's jump into it. I can't wait to have this conversation with you.
There it is again. Have a conversation. See, it never stops.
Have is unstoppable.
Okay, let's start with the most basic meaning. Have can mean to possess something or own something.
Like, I have a dog. That means I own the dog. The dog belongs to me.
Well, in your case, it would be I don't have a dog. But yes, exactly that pattern.
True, no dog for me, but I have an apartment, I have a car, well, an old one, I have a computer, I have too many coffee mugs.
How many coffee mugs do you actually have?
Honestly, I think like 15. They just accumulate. Every time someone gives me a gift, it's a mug. Oh, Tom, you like coffee, here's a mug. And I can't throw them away because they have sentimental value.
That's actually a perfect example. They have sentimental value. The mugs possess that quality. You're describing what something has, what qualities or features it contains.
So you can use have for physical things and for qualities?
Exactly. She has blue eyes. This apartment has 3 bedrooms. Portland has great coffee shops. You're describing what something possesses or includes.
Speaking of possessing things, how many books do you have, Anna?
Don't ask. It's embarrassing. There are books on every surface of my apartment. I have shelves full of them, stacks on the floor, some under my bed.
So we both have our collections. You have books, I have mugs.
And of course, I have Biscuit. That's the most important thing I have in my life.
Aw, he's lucky to have you too.
Thanks. That's another use. He's lucky to have you. Relationships. You have friends, you have family, you have someone who cares about you.
I have a girlfriend named Lily. I have great friends. Those are all possessions in a sense, right?
In the grammatical sense, yes. Things or people that belong with you, that are part of your life. Okay, now here's a very common use. Have can mean to experience something, to go through an activity or a moment.
Oh, like I had a great day. You're not holding a day in your hands, you experienced it.
Exactly. You went through that experience. I had a wonderful time. We had an amazing vacation. The experience happened to you.
Or the opposite. I had a terrible morning. I had a bad experience.
Yes, good or bad, you have experiences. And this connects to so many everyday phrases.
Like have breakfast?
Perfect example. I have breakfast every morning doesn't mean you own breakfast or possess it. It means you eat breakfast. You do that activity.
So have lunch, have dinner, have a snack, all activities?
Right. And have a drink, have a coffee, have a meeting, have a conversation.
Wait, so we're having a conversation right now. We're not possessing the conversation, we're doing it.
Exactly. Have plus noun can often mean do that activity. It's a really common pattern.
What about have fun? That's everywhere.
Have fun means experience fun. Enjoy yourself. We had so much fun at the party. Have fun on your trip.
I love that phrase. Lily always says it when I go to meet Jake. Have fun with Jake. Don't stay out too late.
I sounds like a mom.
She's very caring, and she makes sure I have a good time while also making sure I don't forget about responsibilities.
That's sweet. Now notice how natural all of these sound. Have breakfast, have fun, have a meeting. These are so automatic that we don't even think about the grammar. We just use them.
That's the goal for learners, right? To make it feel automatic.
Exactly. And the more you hear these phrases in real context, the more they'll become natural for you too. Okay, this next meaning is super important. Have to means you must do something. It's necessary. There's no choice.
Like, I have to finish this project. It's not optional. It's required.
Right. Have to equals must, need to. It's necessary.
I say this all the time. I have to wake up early tomorrow. I have to respond to these emails. I have to call my mom back.
Do you have to call your mom?
I really do. She texted me 3 times. If I don't call her soon, she's going to start worrying that I'm not eating properly.
Moms are the same everywhere. My mom is exactly like that too.
But notice, with have to, there's this feeling of external pressure, like something outside of me is making me do it.
That's a great observation. Have to often feels like the obligation comes from outside. Rules, expectations, responsibilities. Compare that to want to, which comes from inside.
So, I have to go could mean my boss is waiting for me, or my meeting starts in 5 minutes. Something external is pushing me.
Exactly. And the negative is interesting too. I don't have to go means it's not necessary. I have a choice.
Oh, that's useful. Like, you don't have to worry. It's not necessary to worry.
Yes. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to understand everything immediately. These are reassuring phrases. You're telling someone there's no pressure.
That's something Anna says to her students a lot, right?
All the time. You don't have to speak perfectly. You just have to try. That mindset shift is so important for language learners. Let's look at some everyday phrases that use have.
Have a look means to look at something. Have a look at this design I made.
Have a seat means to sit down. Very common in formal or polite situations. Please have a seat.
Have a word means to speak with someone briefly. Can I have a word with you after the meeting?
Have a go means to try something. I've never tried sushi, but I'll have a go.
That's great for learners who are nervous about trying something new. Just have a go.
Have a problem means something is wrong. I have a problem with my computer.
Have a question means you want to ask something. I have a question about this phrase.
And one more important one, have got. In British English, have got is very common. I've got a question means the same as I have a question.
Oh, interesting. So I've got time equals I have time?
Exactly. Same meaning, just different style. British speakers use have got more. American speakers often just say have.
Good to know for our international listeners.
Let's put all of this together in a real conversation. Tom, tell me about your typical day.
All right, so I usually have coffee first thing in the morning. That's non-negotiable. Without coffee, I don't have any energy and I have a really hard time focusing.
Same here. I have tea every morning. 1 cup of Earl Grey to start the day. It's like a little ritual.
Tea is nice too. So after coffee, I check my schedule to see what meetings I have. Some days I have 3 or 4 calls. Other days I have the whole day free to focus on design work.
Do you have breakfast before you start working?
Sometimes. If I have time, I'll have some toast or eggs. But honestly, some mornings I'm already in work mode and I forget to eat. Then around 11 a.m., my stomach starts complaining and I realize I have to stop and have something.
I always have breakfast. I have to, or else I get cranky. I'm not myself if I don't have food in me.
What do you usually have?
Oatmeal with fruit, usually. I have it every single day. Boring, I know, but it works for me. And Biscuit has his breakfast at the same time. He has his kibble. I have my oatmeal. We're breakfast buddies.
That's adorable. Do you have time to walk him in the morning too?
I have to walk him. That's part of the morning routine. He has so much energy in the morning. If he doesn't have his walk, he gets restless and starts putting his toys everywhere.
We talked about that pudding thing before. Everything connects.
It really does. After the walk, I have to rush to get ready for work. I usually have my first class at 9, so I have to leave by 8:30.
Do you have a long commute?
Not too bad. I have about a 20-minute bike ride. It's actually nice. I have some time to think before the day starts.
That sounds peaceful. I have the luxury of working from home, but sometimes I miss that transition time between home and work.
Yeah, it helps me switch mental modes. By the time I arrive, I'm ready to have a productive day.
Speaking of productive days, what happens when you have a really busy one?
When I have back-to-back classes, I almost have no breaks. I might have 5 minutes between classes to have a quick drink of water, check my messages. By the end, I'm exhausted. But it's also rewarding. When students have their breakthrough moments, that makes everything worth it.
I love that. Having passion for your work makes the busy days bearable.
Absolutely. Even when I have to grade 30 essays on a Sunday night, I try to remember why I do this.
That reminds me, what do you do when you have a student who's struggling, like someone who's having a really hard time with English?
Great question. First, I try to make sure they know they're not alone. Lots of students have the same struggles. Then I work with them to figure out what kind of support they need. Some just need extra practice time. Others need different explanations or more visual examples.
Do you have any inspiring success stories?
So many. There was one student last year who barely spoke in class at the beginning. She would just nod or shake her head. She was terrified of making mistakes. Over time, I kept encouraging her. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to try. By the end of the semester, she was having full conversations with her classmates. She even gave a presentation. When she finished, she had tears in her eyes, and honestly, so did I.
That's incredible. Moments like that make all the hard work worth it.
Exactly. Teaching has hard days, but when students have those breakthroughs, there's nothing better.
I feel the same way about design, actually. When I have a project that finally clicks, when the client's face lights up because they love what I created, that feeling in my chest, like warmth spreading out, I live for that.
Creative work is emotional, isn't it?
Absolutely. Lily always says I have too much of my heart in my work. Maybe she's right, but that's also what makes it meaningful.
Let's review the most important have phrases before we finish.
Have plus possession, owning or possessing something. I have a car. I have 2 siblings. This phone has a great camera.
Have plus experience, doing an activity or going through something. Have breakfast, have fun, have a meeting, have a good time.
Have to, obligation or necessity. I have to go. You have to try this. She has to work late.
Have plus noun, common collocations. Have a look, have a seat, have a word, have a go, have a problem, have a question.
And don't have to for when something is not necessary.
Right. You don't have to wait. You don't have to worry.
I also want to mention have got, the British style. I've got a meeting means I have a meeting.
Great addition. Very useful for understanding British English. Now let's cover some common mistakes learners make with have.
I'm ready. These always help me feel like I'm not alone in making mistakes.
First, forgetting to change have for third person. It becomes has. She has a dog, not she have a dog.
Right. I have, you have, we have, they have, but he has, she has, it has.
Second, confusing have to with must. They're very similar, but have to can sound a bit softer. You must go sounds very strong and commanding. You have to go soon feels more gentle.
Interesting. So must is more urgent?
Often, yes. Also, must doesn't change for past tense the same way. We say had to for past necessity. I had to wake up early yesterday.
So musted is not a word.
Correct. Must doesn't have a past form. Use had to instead.
Got it. What else?
Third, some learners say I have 30 years old instead of I am 30 years old. In English, we don't have an age, we are an age.
Oh, that's a good one. Some languages use have for age, but English uses be.
Exactly. I am 30, not I have 30. And same with feelings. I am hungry, not I have hungry.
But you can say I have hunger?
That's very formal and literary. In everyday conversation, just say I'm hungry. Let's do a final review of everything we covered today.
First, meaning. Have equals possession, owning or having something as part of your life.
I have a dog. She has blue eyes. Portland has great food. We have time.
Pattern. Have plus thing / quality / person. You possess it or it belongs to you.
Second meaning, have equals experience, going through an activity or a moment.
Have breakfast, have fun, have a meeting, have a good time, have a problem.
These are all activities you do, experiences you go through, very common in daily conversation.
Third meaning, have to equals obligation. Something is necessary. You must do it.
I have to go. You have to try this. She has to finish her homework.
And don't have to means it's not necessary. You have a choice.
Fourth, common have phrases for everyday situations.
Have a look, to look at something. Have a seat, to sit down. Have a word, to talk briefly.
Have a go, to try. Have a question, to want to ask something.
And remember, has for he, she, it. She has a cat, not she have.
Also remember, age uses am, not have. I am 30, not I have 30.
And past tense of have to is had to. I had to work late yesterday.
Perfect. If you remember these three meanings and these phrases, you'll use have confidently in any conversation.
Because have is literally everywhere. Every single conversation probably includes it at least 5 times.
Probably more. Now you'll start noticing it everywhere.
All right, that was our deep dive into have. Such a small word with so many uses.
Now, a question for you. Tell us in the comments, what do you have in your life that makes you happy? Maybe you have a pet, have great friends, have a hobby you love. Use have in your answer.
We love reading your examples. It's great practice, and it helps other learners see real sentences.
And if you're thinking have really is everywhere, you're absolutely right.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share with a friend who's learning English.
We'll see you tomorrow with another easy conversation. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.